Hi everybody, this is Bonnie Barker with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and today I want to show you how to make my Sunshine Saxon scarf. Let me give you a little preview here. This is made using a fingering weight yarn, and yes, this is crochet. This is an intermediate project, but if you've never worked cables before, please feel free to take a look and see if this is something for you. If you are an intermediate crocheter already and want to take your cables to the next level, I think this just may be what you're looking for. But let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you what you're going to need. For this project, I'm going to be using 3 hanks of some beautiful hand-dyed yarn. This is hand-dyed by CREATE YARNWORKS, and here's the information for how to reach this company, and I'll also include this in the video description below. Each of these hanks is a fingering weight yarn and 85% superwash merino wool and 15% nylon. Each of these hanks has 440 yards or 3.5 ounces. I'll also be using a size G or 6 or 4.00 millimeter crochet hook. And as always, I recommend that you have a pair of sharp scissors and a yarn needle handy. To begin, we're going to start with a slip knot and a starting chain of 71 chains. After completing your chain of 71 chains, we're going to start row 1 by working a double crochet in the 4th chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4th chain from the hook, and in each chain across. So go ahead and work those double crochets, and at the end of this row you should have a total of 68 double crochets, and that is not including the chain 3 at the beginning. That's only counting the double crochets. So go ahead and work those double crochets. Now for the next 6 rows, this would be for rows 2 through 7, they are going to be worked all the same way. We're going to start with the chain 2. We're going to skip the first stitch. We're going to work a front post double crochet. This is where you work the hook around the body of the stitch like you're giving it a belt. Work a front post double crochet followed by a back post where you come in from the back and the hook goes around the stitch. Pull up a loop and you complete the stitch. So we're going to work front post double crochet followed by a back post double crochet, and we're going to work it all the way across, and I will show you how these rows end. Row 2 ends with a front post double crochet followed by a half double crochet worked into the turning chain. So this is what you should have after completing 2 rows. Now on to the 3rd row. We're still maintaining the ribbing. We're going to chain 2. The only difference is on the odd number of rows, you're going to start with a back post double crochet. So we chain 2, skip that first stitch. We work a back post double crochet over the back post, and you see the front post here, so we're going to work a front post, back post double crochet followed by a front post. So we will work that all the way across the row, alternating back and forth. At the end of this row, it will end with a back post double crochet followed by a half double worked into the turning chain. So go ahead and finish row number 3 and then work rows 4, 5, 6, and 7. So just as a reminder, when you're on the even number of rows, you will begin with a front post double crochet. When you're on the odd number of rows, you will begin with a back post double crochet. Just be sure to do what you see. Like when you see a back post, work a back post, front post, work a front post in order to maintain the ribbing. So go ahead and continue row 3 and then work rows 4 through 7. This is what you should have after completing 7 rows. Now for row 8, we are going to begin the foundation for the cabling, and we're also going to begin the basket weave on both the beginning and at the end of these rows. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. We're going to start with a chain 2, and we're going to skip that first stitch now and always. We're going to work 2 front post double crochets, followed by 2 back post double crochets, and then 2 more front post double crochets. We just stop and just look at that. So this will be the 2-stitch basket weave, and I'll talk more about that as we go forward. Now we're going to work 2 wattle stitches, spelled W-A-T-T-L-E, and this is how we're going to do the foundation row for those. Work a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet worked into the same stitch, and then skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then we're going to work another wattle stitch, single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet worked into that next stitch, and then we skip 2 stitches, 1, 2. Now the next stitch, again, make sure that you are skipping 2 stitches. The next stitch, we're going to work a front post double crochet. We're going to do that 3 times, 1, 2, and 3, because we're working the foundation for the elongated cable. So we have those 3 front post doubles. Then we work a half double worked into the top loops of the next stitch, and then 3 more front post double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Let's pause and take a look at that. Again, just laying the foundation for an elongated cable. Now we're going to work 1 wattle stitch worked into the top loops of that next stitch. Again, single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet worked into the same stitch. And in keeping with the working of the stitch on the foundation row, we skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2. In the next stitch, we're going to work the foundation, or begin the foundation for the Saxon cable. So we're going to work 1, 2, 3 front post double crochets, and then a half double crochet worked into the top loops of the next stitch. So we're going to do this 4 more times, and then a 5th time just using the front post. So I'll do this with you. So we're going to do this 4 more times with 3 front post double crochets, followed by a half double worked into the top loops. Let's do that again. 3 front post double crochets, followed by a half double. And let's do that again. 3 front post double crochets, followed by a half double. So let's pause and see what we have so far. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do another one. 3 front post double crochets, followed by a half double. And then we're going to do this one more time, but just 3 front post double crochets only. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to pause and look at what we have. So we should have, with these groupings of 3 and then the half doubles, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the last group is just those 3 front post doubles. You don't work a half double after that. Now we're going to work 1 waddle stitch in the next stitch, single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Okay, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and now we're going to work the foundation for the elongated cable, which was that 7 stitch motif. So it's 3 front post double crochets, a half double in the next stitch, and we're going to follow that with 3 more front post double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to work 2 waddle stitches worked into the top loops, single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then the next, single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, this is the way this row ends. So after that second waddle stitch, we're going to skip just 1 stitch, and then we're going to work 2 front post double crochets, followed by 2 back post double crochets, and then 2 front post double crochets, and then we're going to work a half double into that turning chain. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have. I know it's a little tricky to see right now, but let's go ahead and review. We have 2 front post, 2 back post, 2 front post, 2 waddle stitches, and then we have the foundation for the elongated cable with the 3 front post, half double, 3 front post. Then we have 1 waddle stitch, and we've skipped 2 stitches after that. And then the foundation for the Saxon cable. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of 3 front post double crochets with the half doubles in the middle. So there are 5 half doubles in between there. 1 waddle stitch followed by another foundation where you have the 3 front post doubles, half double, 3 front post, a waddle stitch, skip 2 stitches, a waddle stitch, skip 1 stitch, then 2 front post, 2 back post, 2 front post, and a half double in the turning chain. So that's the beginning of this cabling system. That is the end of row 8. So for row 9, we're going to turn, chain 2, skip that first stitch, and we're going to continue on with our basket weave with 2 back post double crochets, 2 front post double crochets, and 2 more back post double crochets. Now working into the waddle stitch, we're always going to skip that double crochet, and we're only going to work our waddle stitch for this row in this chain 1 space. So right into that hole there created by the last waddle stitch, we work a single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And then we have another waddle stitch, so we skip to the next chain 1 space, work a single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, which I will refer to as a waddle stitch as much as I can from this point on. Okay, so now working with the back side facing, we're going to work 3 back post double crochets, we're going to work a half double into those top loops of the half double now and throughout this pattern, and then 3 more back post double crochets. Working in the waddle stitch, we work in that chain 1 space only, single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and now working across the Saxon cable, we're going to work 3 back post double crochets over those post stitches and a half double crochet, again worked into the top loops of the half double crochet. So whenever you work the half doubles, it's going to be worked through the top loops. So now 3 more back post double crochets, and we're just going to repeat that across this Saxon cable section. 3 back post double crochets, half double in the half double, and let's do that again. 3 back post double crochets, half double in the half double. Let's do it again. 3 back post double crochets, half double in the half double, 3 back post double crochets. Remember, there are 6 of these sections as we go across. Half double in the half double, 3 more back post double crochets, and now we get to the wattle stitch on the other side. We work a wattle stitch, and then 3 more. This is the elongated cable. 3 back post double crochets, half double in the half double, and 3 more back post double crochets, and then we get to those 2 wattle stitches, and we just work wattle stitches there. And then back to the basket weave. So 2 back post double crochets, 2 front post double crochets, and 2 back post double crochets, and then half double into that turning chain, and you will always end with a half double. So let's pause, and we can kind of see those growing now. You can see those foundations. So now this is the row where we are actually going to start crossing our cables. We're going to cross the elongated cables. So these are going to be little cables at first, and then they are going to be longer after this. Now let's take a look at this Saxon cable before we delve into it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what's going to happen is the first and second and the 5th and 6th cables are just going to continue to elongate with front post double crochets. But now the 3rd and 4th columns are actually going to cross. We're going to cross that with a front cross, and I will show you what that means and explain it to you, because we're going to also do that here and here. Okay, now let me explain something also about the basket weave. With the basket weave, we have now worked 2 rows that are similar. We have 2 rows with the front post here, back post, front post. Now every 2 rows, we are going to switch the direction. So for the next row, and again, we're going to switch the direction when the front side is facing us. So every time you have the front side facing us, we're going to reverse the direction. So instead of working front post here, we're going to work back post double crochets. Then we're going to work 2 front posts and then 2 back posts. So it kind of gives this a woven look on the side. So let's go ahead and start with that. With our chain 2, and as always, we're skipping that half double crochet. Now we work 2 back post double crochets, followed by 2 front post double crochets, and then followed by 2 back post double crochets. Now for the wattle stitches, again, we just work single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, work a wattle stitch into that chain 1 space. Now we get to the first elongated cable. We're going to do a front cross, and this is how we do this. We skip the first 3 stitches, we work a half double into the top loops of that half double crochet, and then we're going to front post treble into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Now working in front of those 4 stitches, we're going to front post treble into the 3 stitches that we just skipped. 1, 2, and I'm just completing front post trebles here. 3. Let me pause so that you can see that. So you see how this has been crossed now. After that, we have 1 wattle stitch, which is right here. And now it's time for us to work on the Saxon cable. We're going to work front post on the first 2 columns, so I'll go ahead and work those with you. Remember those 3 front post double crochets, followed by a half double, and then 3 more front post double crochets, followed by a half double. Now these 2 columns are the ones that we are going to cross. So we're going to do a front cross, skip 3 stitches, half double into that half double, front post treble into the next 3 stitches, working in front of those 4 stitches, we're going to front post treble in the 3 stitches that we just skipped. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so after we've done that, we've crossed that center, those center 2 cables. Now we're going to half double into the next half double. And these are the other 2 columns of this Saxon cable. We're just going to work front post double crochets over these 2, or 3 stitches rather. Half double in the next half double. And then 3 front post double crochets. After that, we have another wattle stitch. So let's go ahead and work this wattle stitch, and then we're going to look at this Saxon cable again. Okay, so let's look at the Saxon cable we just did. There's 2 columns with the front post, and of course the half double in between. Half double here. We crossed the 4th, or the 3rd and the 4th columns here. 5th and 6th, we just continue with the front post double crochets. Okay, so now we need to cross the next elongated cable. Skip those 3 stitches, half double in the next half double, front post trebles in the next 3 stitches, working in front of those last 4 stitches. We're going to front post treble in the 3 stitches that we just skipped. 1, 2, and 3. We follow that with the 2 wattle stitches. And remember, since we have the front side facing, we need to reverse the basket weave. So we do 2 back post double crochets because we see front post, so we do 2 back posts and then 2 front post. And then 2 back post. And then we work half double into that turning chain. So this is what you should have after completing 10 rows. Okay, for row 11, we're going to turn, chain 2. Now remember, we have the back side facing. So with the basket weave, we're just going to maintain what we have. And if you forget that little rule, just remember that there are 2 rows of the same worked before we change. So we only have 1 row of this new basket weave. So we go ahead and we work what we see. So 2 front posts, double crochets, followed by 2 back posts, and 2 more front post double crochets. And we have 2 wattle stitches worked into those chain 1 spaces. After a while, you'll understand these very easily, and the muscle memory will adapt to these 3 different stitches in a row. Now, working on the back side of the elongated cable, this is row 11. This is also the row after a cable crossing. This is what you're going to do. We're going to work 3 back post double crochets just across the row in the order that these stitches appear. We're not crossing anything. We're just working across. After those 3 back post stitches, we're going to work a half double crochet in between that last stitch and the next stitch. This is in the center of where these 2 columns were crossed. So we work a half double just right there in between those spaces. And then we're going to work 3 more back post double crochets. And after I finish these 3 double crochet back post double crochets, I wanted to say something about the stitch count. In case some of you mathematicians may have noticed that I have added a stitch in here, but we're also going to skip this half double crochet entirely and thereby canceling out any increases. So the stitch count will remain constant throughout this design. All right, so now we get to the wattle stitch and we work a single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, or a wattle stitch in that space, working across these columns with the back side facing, 3 back post double crochets. This is very similar to what we did on row 9. Half double crochet in that next stitch, and we're going to do that again. 3 back post double crochets, and we're going to follow that with another half double crochet. And just like we did with the other cable crossing, we're going to work 3 back post double crochets. And the cables are the stitches that you work first. These are the ones that are crossed on top. You can feel that with your the nerve endings in your fingers here of the non-dominant hand. And in between that last stitch and next stitch, we're going to insert a half double crochet. And then 3 more back post double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Half double in that next half double. Notice that we skipped this stitch here, but it's the half double that's right in between these 2 columns that we do next. Then 3 more back post double crochets, half double in that next half double, and then we have 3 more back post double crochets, and then we get to the wattle stitches next. So let's go ahead and do the wattle stitch. And then we have the back of another elongated cable. And I'll just show this to you one more time, because if you're watching this the first time, you may not be familiar with this cabling system. So it's 3 back post double crochets, and in between that last stitch and the next, half double, and then 3 more back post double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Working in the wattle stitches again. Wattle stitches in each of those chain 1 spaces. And then again, maintaining the basket weave, because we're working with the back side facing us, so we work 2 front post double crochets, 2 back post, and then 2 front post, and half double worked into that turning chain. Let's go ahead and turn and see what we have. So now we can kind of see some of the relief starting to show. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and make the next row, and I'm going to talk you through some of this. So we have worked this part already 4 rows. So we're going to change the direction. Well, let me go ahead and do that with you. I'm going to do the basket weave. We're going to chain 2, and it's time to change the direction. We have the front side facing, so now we work 2 front post double crochets, followed by 2 back post double crochets, and 2 more front post double crochets. Let me talk you through a little more of this. We're going to work a wattle stitch here, and then over these stitches we're going to work 3 front post double crochets, a half double in the half double, 3 front post double crochets, and then a wattle stitch in this space. So go ahead and work that, and then I will show you how to work the Saxon cable. So after completing those stitches, you see how the elongated cable continues to grow. And now we're going to work the Saxon cable. And so what we're going to do with this cable is we're going to continue to grow the outer columns, which is this column, the first, and the 6th column. We're just going to have front post double crochets. Now the crossings are going to be with the 2nd and the 3rd cables, or 2nd and 3rd columns, and the 4th and the 5th. And I'm going to demonstrate how to work back crosses for these. They're worked a little bit differently, and I'm going to take them very slow, but I'll show you how those would be worked. And if you need an extra diagram, please check the stitch diagrams and photographs in the written pattern. That will help you a little bit. So for the first, we're just going to work 3 front post double crochets, half double in that next stitch. Now we're going to cross these 2 cables. So what we're going to do, we're going to work a half double. First of all, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then work that half double. We're going to work front post trebles in the next 3. So just to be clear, whenever we're crossing cables, we use front post trebles or triples, and when we're not crossing cables, we just work double front or back post double crochets. Okay, so after working those 3 front post trebles, now working behind those last 4 stitches, that's the half double in those 3 front post trebles, we're going to work behind those and work front post trebles here, here, and here. And the way we do that is we come back behind into this hole. So we double wrap our hook, come back, and I'm going to use my thumb and tall man to locate this stitch so that I can help direct my hook around that stitch. So, and if you want to put your thumb up into that hole, it's very helpful. You can direct your hook over that first stitch, and then we complete the treble. This is not easy at first, I'll admit, and it does take a little bit of practice, but again, try to depend on those nerve endings in your digits of your non-dominant hand. Okay, so we're going to double wrap again, coming back into the space. I've located the second stitch, which is right here with my tall man and my thumbkin. And we're going to bring our hook around that stitch, and then we complete the treble on that second stitch. And yes, we're going to do this the 3rd time. Coming in again to the space. Here is the last stitch, which is here. And if you're not sure, look at the column and locate this stitch. I've got it between my fingers, and then we locate it and continue the treble. If you need additional stitch support for these stitches and how to do a back cross or a front cross, check the video description below, and I will have a listing of videos that you can peruse to, you know, get a little extra stitch support. All right, the next stitch, we're going to work a half double in that half double. And now it's time to work another back crossing over these 2 columns. And again, skip those next 3 stitches, half double in that next half double, front post treble crochet in the next 3 stitches, all right, now working behind those 4 stitches, again coming back into the hole that's behind those 4 stitches. We're going to start with this stitch, then this stitch, and then this stitch. So I've located this with my fingers and work that first treble crochet, coming in for that second. If you put your thumb up into that opening, it can be very helpful to help you locate where these stitches are. And for the third, which is right here, and do take this very slowly so that you can understand. And it's okay if you make mistakes and have to rip it out a few times before you get it. That's pretty normal. Okay, so now you see where we're headed on this. Half double in the next half double. Front post double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Work that wattle stitch. And let me talk you through the rest of this. 3 front post double crochets, half double, 3 front post, wattle stitch, and remember we're changing the direction. So we're going to work 2 front post, 2 back post, 2 front post, and a half double in the turning chain. So this is what you should have after completing 12 rows. For row 13, we will turn, chain 2, and we're just going to maintain the basket weave with 2 back posts, 2 front posts, 2 back posts, the 2 wattle stitches, and then we're going to work back post double crochets, half double, and 3 more back post double crochets over that elongated cable, and then work the wattle stitch And after that, I will show you the Saxon cable. Now that we've come to the Saxon cable, I wanted to just show you what it looks like working over the back side of these back crosses. It's very similar to what we've already seen. But let's go ahead and work these beginning column. So this beginning column is just 3 back post double crochets, as will all the other columns be, but it's going to look a little bit different. Half double and the half double, and again with the back crosses, it's the stitches that are underneath that come first, but it's just the order. If you're ever in doubt, it's just the order in which these V's appear. Look at it this way. These V's appear on the top of the stitches in case there's any doubt as to which ones to do. Just go from right to left if you're looking at the right-handed video, or left to right on the left-handed video. So we do 3 back post doubles, and then again a half double in between that last stitch and next stitch, and then 3 more back post double crochets, half double in that next half double, and then 3 more back post double crochets. And then we have another half double in between that last stitch and next. And this is always going to be in the middle of where those 2 columns crossed on the previous row. You should be able to get one of your fingers in between here so that to verify that that's the right place. 3 more back post double crochets. Half double and that next half double, and then 3 more back post double crochets. So it's still basically just 3 back post doubles and then a half double all the way across, but putting them in between the cable crossings is very important. So this is what it would look like after finishing that. Let's look at the front side of this. So it's really starting to form nicely. Okay, so let me just explain so that you can finish the rest. We're going to work a wattle stitch, 3 back post, half double, 3 back post double crochets, wattle stitch, and then again 2 back post, 2 front post, 2 back posts, and a half double in that turning chain. So go ahead and finish out row number 13. So now we come to row 14, and this is going to be a fun row because we're going to have a lot of cable crossings on this row. So let's talk about that a little bit. We're going to cross the elongated cable, which is really not the more elongated cable that I've ever made, but it is going to be kind of a short elongated cable. So we're going to cross this with a front cross. We're going to cross these 2 columns with a front cross, these 2 columns with a front cross, these 2 columns with a front cross, and these as well with a front cross. And I will work those with you. And then we will do the regular wattle stitches. And again, we're going to reverse the basket weave. So we'll begin these with a back post. And again, just to reiterate how we're working this, we have 2 rows here, 2 rows, 2 rows. So you always know it's time to reverse the stitches for the basket weave. Of course, if you're on the front side facing, it'll also be time to reverse them. All right, so they do coincide. So go ahead and chain 2. This is for row 14. We're going to work 2 back post double crochets, 2 front post double crochets, and 2 more back post double crochets. And I'm just going to work this whole row with you. The wattle stitches. It's going to be a lot of front crosses, and so you'll get a lot of review in this row. So All right, so now we're going to work a front cross on this elongated cable. Skip 3 stitches, half double that next stitch, front post treble in the next 3 stitches, working in front of those last 4 stitches, we're going to front post treble here, here, and then here. Those 3 stitches that we just skipped. 1, 2, and 3. Waddle stitch in that next waddle stitch. Now we're going to work 3 front crosses, one after the other, in this beautiful Saxon cable. Skip those first 3 stitches, half double, and that next half double. And again, it's going to be very repetitive, but I will show this to you. 3 front post trebles, working in front of those 4 stitches, we're going to front post treble here, here, and here. And this is the first time, the first and the last column of this cable have been used. Half double in that next half double. Now we're going to do another front cross. Skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, half double in that next half double. Front post treble in those next 3 stitches. Make sure we pull it through. And working in front of those last 4 stitches, we're going to front post treble here, here, and here. Half double in that next half double. Don't forget those. They could even be, hiding, but make sure that you work that next half double. Now skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, half double, and that next half double. Front post treble in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. Working in front of those 4 stitches, we're going to front post treble here, here, here. These are the post stitches. I know they might be difficult to see, but you should be able to see them. They do stand out a little bit from the half double crochets. Okay, so let's go ahead and work this waddle stitch, and we'll take a look at these crosses. So this is what that Saxon cable should look like. You should have 1, 2, 3 front crosses. Okay. Now we get to the last of the crossings. Skip 3 stitches. This is the elongated cable. Half double in that half double, and once again 3 front post trebles, 1 in each of those next 3 stitches. Working in front of those last 4 stitches, we're going to front post treble in those 3 stitches that we just skipped. All right, and then we're just going to finish out the row with the waddle stitches. So to end row 14, we're going to work another waddle stitch, and then 2 back posts, 2 front posts, and then 2 back posts. For row 15, we're going to work 2 front posts, 2 back posts, 2 front posts, just maintaining what you see, waddle stitches, and then we're going to work the back post double crochets across all these cable crossings. Don't forget to add the half double in between the last stitch and the next stitch, which is the center of all of these cables. You will do that here, 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 and here. So don't forget to do that. And again, the waddle stitches, and then 2 front posts, 2 back posts, 2 front posts, and a half double at the end of the row. So go ahead and work row 15. This is what you should have after completing 15 rows. Now for row 16, it's going to be a repeat as far as the cabling is concerned. It's going to be a repeat of row number 12, which was the row here where we did the 2 back crosses. All right, so go ahead and work through the other stitches. I'll go ahead and tell you what these are going to be. It's time to reverse this again. Front side is facing, so 2 front posts, 2 back posts, 2 front posts, waddle stitch, and then work 3 front post double crochets, half double, 3 front post double crochets over those elongated cables. Waddle stitch, of course, and then I'll show you how to do the Saxon cable. Now when we get to the Saxon cable portion, we're going to work just 3 front post double crochets over that first column, half double, and that next half double. Now we're going to work back crosses over these 2 columns, or a back cross, I should say, with these 2 columns. We're going to do this by working, well, first of all, skip those 3 front post stitches, half double, and that next half double, front post trebles, and those next 3 stitches, and this is where it gets a little bit awkward. Working behind these 4 stitches, we're going to work front post trebles here, here, and here. So remember, come in that back opening, and we work that first stitch with a front post treble. And let's again come into that opening for that second stitch. Again, use the nerve endings in your thumb and finger to find where these are located. They're a lot easier to feel than to see. And then the last time into that opening, and we locate the stitch right here. So working around that stitch, we work that front post treble, half double, and the next half double. Skip the next 3 stitches, half double, and that next half double, front post treble, and the next 3 stitches, now again working behind those last 4 stitches. We're going to front post treble here, here, and here, but coming in through that back opening and right here. 1, and locate that next stitch. 2, and that last stitch is right here. And it's being a little elusive with me. Okay, there we go. 3. So there we have that back cross. Let's finish out this next section. Half double, the next half double, and then 3 front post double crochets. Make sure you use double crochets, front post doubles here, not the trebles, since we're not crossing them. Okay, and so this is how that Saxon cable looks as you work row 16. So to complete row 16, we're going to work a wattle stitch, front post doubles, half double, front post doubles, wattle stitch, and again we're reversing this, so it would be 2 front post, 2 back post, 2 front post, and a half double in the turning chain. So go ahead and finish out row 16. For row 17, I'm just going to talk you through this since you've done many of these already. We're going to maintain the basket weave since we have the back side facing, 2 back posts, 2 front posts, 2 back posts, the 2 wattle stitches, and then across the elongated cables we're just going to work 3 back post double crochets, half double, 3 back post double crochets. Then you have your wattle stitch, and then working across all of these back post double crochet in these 3 stitches, so that first column, half double, and then where the cables have been crossed, don't forget 3 back post, half double in between that last stitch and next stitch, which is the center of the cable crossing, 3 back post, half double, and then again 3 back post, half double in between where those cables crossed, and then 3 more back post, half double, 3 more back post, wattle stitch, and then again over the elongated cable, 3 back post double crochets, half double, 3 back post double crochets, wattle stitches here and here, and then we're just maintaining back post, 2 back post, 2 front post, 2 back post, and a half double in the turning chain. So go ahead and work row 17. This is what you should have after completing 17 rows. Now we're going to work row 18, but it also happens to be the same as row number 10, which is the row here where we crossed the elongated cables and the very first crossing of the Saxon cable. But I'm going to go ahead and work this with you. I'm going to start with the chain 2. We're going to work 2 back posts because again front side facing is time to reverse the basket weave again, so this will be 2 back post, 2 front post, 2 back post, wattle stitch, go ahead and cross this cable with a front cross and a wattle stitch here, and then I will work the Saxon cable with you. So now working the Saxon cable, we are only going to cross the 2 center columns, which would be the 3rd and the 4th. The other columns we're just going to work front post double crochets, and I'll just work that with you. So the first column we work 3 front post double crochets, half double, and the half double, and 3 more front post double crochets over the second column, half double in that half double. Now this is where we're going to cross these 2, the 3rd and the 4th columns, skip 3 stitches, half double in that next half double, front post treble in the next 3 stitches, working in front of those last 4 stitches, we're going to front post treble in these 3 stitches, 3 of the stitches that we skipped, and these are again are the post stitches. Make sure you don't do the half doubles. It's easy to do those by accident, so make sure that these are the 3 front post double crochets, half double in that next half double, which is right here, 3 more front post double crochets, half double in that next half double, and 3 more front post double crochets. So let's go ahead and pause and take a look. So we have completed the Saxon cable. All right, so now we're going to work wattle stitch. We're going to work this in a front cross, just like we did this cable, for another front cross, wattle stitch, and again reversing this, 2 back posts, 2 front posts, 2 back posts. So go ahead and finish out this row. This is row 18. This is what you should have after completing 19 rows. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. Now let me just tell you what we're going to do for the next several rows. We're just going to continue to elongate these sections here, and then we're going to cross the middle 2 columns again and going to repeat this. But for now, for row number 20, we are, let me go ahead and talk you through this. We're just going to work the basket weave as usual. It's time to reverse this to 2 front posts, 2 back posts, 2 front posts. The wattle stitches as usual. Work front post double crochets over these 3 stitches, half double, 3 front post doubles, basically over all of the columns of these cables. For the Saxon cable, the same, 3 front post, half double, front post, half double, front post, half double, etc. All the way across, nothing is being crossed. Wattle stitch, and again, the elongated cable, 3 front post, half double, 3 front post, wattle stitch, and again, reverse, 2 front post, 2 back post, 2 front post, and a half double in that turning chain. So go ahead and complete row number 20. And after that, for row 21 with the back side facing, you'll maintain the basket weave like what you see. And then we'll just work back post double crochets over all of these cables. Again, maintaining the half doubles in between. And of course, you know, the wattle stitches are worked as usual. So go ahead and work rows 20 and 21. This is what you should have after completing 21 rows. I'm hoping that you're enjoying this as much as I am. Now, to continue this pattern, all you need to do is repeat rows 10 through rows 21. And you can look across the bottom of the screen and I'll tell you how many times that I am going to repeat this for the total length of the scarf. But what you can do is you can repeat this as many or as few times as you would like, depending on the size scarf that you would like to make. And then once you've determined that, then you can go to the end, towards the end of the video, and I'll put a little time mark where the transition point goes to lead you through the section that will bring you to the ribbing at the end. Okay, so go ahead and work those repeats, and I'll put a little time mark where row 10 begins so that you can go back and look to that for stitch support. And just for the record, everything is the same as you review those repeats, including the basket weave. Everything should be just the same. Okay, I've worked this pattern a number of times. Let me just explain it to you this way, and I'll show you some numbers across the bottom of my screen in just a minute. I have made this woven diamond pattern right here a total of 16 times, and this cable area 15 times. So let me go ahead and show you. And of course, I'll have some photos in the video, on the earlier part of the video, that'll show you much better how this really looks. But while it's in progress, let me show you that I have worked the final. This is the 16th diamond with the woven between it. This whole motif here, of course, is the Saxon cable. So what I did after I completed this cross, this last front cross, then I worked 1, 2 rows after that in pattern stitch. If you look across the bottom of the screen, I'll show you how many rows that I have worked and how those repeats work out. So now we're going to turn with the back side facing. Oh, and also before I do this, if this scarf is not as long as you would like, you are welcome to just continue the pattern stitch. Or if you want this to be smaller, shorter than what I'm doing, you just make sure that you stop at this point on any of the repeats. Okay, go ahead and take a look at the way those cables look. So now we're going to turn, and what we're going to do now is we're going to return to the original ribbing. So let's go ahead and take a look at that again, just to be clear on my instruction. Just notice that we are no longer going to be continuing, starting with this next row and the 6 rows that follow that. We're not going to be working the basket weave any longer. We're just returning to a straight up front and back post double crochets. All right. Of course, this next row, we're not going to do that. We're going to be preparing the scarf at this stage on this row. So this is the row that transitions us back to the ribbing. Now, in order to do this, we're going to continue on with whatever you see on the basket weave, just for this row only. So we're going to work 2 back post double crochets, 2 front post, and 2 more back post. Now this is the important part and the main difference as we work across this row. When you come to the wattle stitches, we're going to skip that double crochet. We're going to work 2 double crochets into the chain 1 space and 1 into the single crochet, and we're going to do this with all of the wattle stitches. So skip that double crochet, 2 double crochets into the chain 1 space, and then 1 into the single crochet. Now as you work across the back side of the cable, go ahead and work back post double crochets over those stitches just the way you normally would. And this goes for all the cabling as well. We're just going to work back post double crochets, half double into half doubles, and again on the rows following, these half doubles will be treated just the way we treat all the other post stitches or double crochets. Okay, so that's what you're going to do, working over those cables. And again, we come to another wattle stitch, skip the double crochet, work 2 double crochets into the chain 1 space and 1 into the single crochet. And I'll just talk you through the rest of this. We're going to work over this with back post double crochets, half doubles into half doubles, just the way we've been doing all along. And again, we get to the wattle stitches, skip the double crochet, 2 double crochets in the chain 1 space and 1 in the single crochet. Do that for both of these, and then return to 2 back posts, 2 front posts, 2 back posts, and a half double worked into the turning chain. Once you finish that, I will show you how to end or work the last 6 rows. Now the next 6 rows, this would be the ribbing rows. We're going to start with the chain 2, skip the first stitch, and we're going to work a front post double crochet followed by a back post double crochet, and we're going to work this all the way across. Even if the stitch is a half double crochet, we're going to treat that just the way we would a double crochet. So I'm going to work this just a little bit so that you can see what I'm talking about. So front post, back post. I'm just going to alternate that front post, so now even though the first row was just continuing in pattern stitch and adding those double crochets into the wattle stitches, by working in that row, which we're going to call that row 1 of the ribbing, even though it's not the rib stitch. This is the transition row for the ribbing. So it really does become a part of the ribbing. So it looks like you have 2 rows of ribbing at this point, even though this is really the first time that we're alternating. Now we get to the cable, and we're just going to alternate front post, back post, even over those cables. Don't forget this half double crochet. Treat it as you would the double crochets or the post stitches. So just continue front post, back post, all the way across, and I will show you how this row ends. At the end of the row, we're going to end with a front post double crochet and then a half double crochet worked in that turning chain. Let's go ahead and look at this. This is again row 2 of the final ribbing. Let's go ahead and turn. And for row 3, it's going to be similar. We're going to chain 2, and it is continuing to be ribbing, but as we turn, we see that we're going to skip this stitch, and we're going to start with a back post double crochet because that is what is presented to us. So we start the 3rd row, and this will also be the 5th row, and the 7th row will also start with the back post double crochet, followed by a front post double crochet. So back post, followed by a front post all the way across the row, and at the end you will also end with a half double crochet worked into the turning chain. Now for row number 4, you will start with a front post double crochet, and again row 5 will start with a back post, row 6 will start with a front post, and row 7 start with a back post double crochet. And of course, whichever stitch you start with at the beginning, that will also be the last stitch at the end of the row. All right, so go ahead and finish those 7 rows and fasten off at the end and hide your loose strands, and then we'll be all finished. Well, I hope you enjoyed making the Sunshine Saxon Cable scarf with me today. If you did, I would certainly love to hear from you. Please feel free to comment in the comments below. God bless. Bye-bye.